Just after 7 a.m. on the morning of April 23, 2023, a three-man Nashville and Eastern train crew was preparing to depart Lebanon, Tennessee for a rare run to Cookeville, a distance of approximately 60 miles, to serve two customers that had recently come back online. Engineer Josh Neely and conductors Andrew Williams and Andrew Jensen were in charge of the train on the 120-mile round trip. We caught up with the trio near milepost 34, behind the QuickTime gas station off of Interstate 40. The train was assigned symbol NE06 with GE locomotives 5941, a B40-8, and B39-8 8585, the city of Watertown, as the motive power. The covered hoppers up front were loaded with cornstarch for Royal Oak Enterprises, a charcoal manufacturer south of Monterey. The cornstarch is used as a binding agent for charcoal briquettes. Since Royal Oak's production facility isn't rail-served, the starch is transloaded in Cookeville and taken by truck for delivery on site. The gondolas at the back were for SA Recycling, a metals processor in Cookeville that recently resumed rail shipments after a 16-year hiatus, making this a significant move on the N&E. With a switch lined by Jensen, the train departed at 7:30 a.m. Jensen followed the train by truck, ensuring switches were lined in advance. The Nashville and Eastern was created in 1986, purchasing much of the remaining ex-Tennessee Central Main Line from CSX between Monterey and Nashville. The Nashville and Western subsidiary operates between its namesake and Ashland City. The two companies serve a combined 39 customers on 145 miles of railroad. South of Lebanon at Lindsley Road, we saw a trio of wild turkeys startled by the train horn. At Watertown, we paced alongside the train from Highway 70 as it continued east to Cookeville. Highway 70 holds the distinct title of Tennessee's first state road, built in 1799 for $1,000. Nashville and Eastern 5941, a former CSX locomotive, arrived on the property with 3 other 4-axle -8s in the summer of 2017. Originally designed to handle intermodals at high speed, the B40s were placed into secondary service by the late 2000s, rendering much of their horsepower, primarily used for acceleration, unnecessary. CSX downrated some of them from 4,000 to 2,000 horsepower between 2009 and 2010 to save fuel and increase efficiency while switching. 5941 and 5939 are still B40-8s, while Nashville and Eastern 5940 and 5938 are derated B20-8s. East of Watertown, Highway 70 parts ways with the TC Main Line as the railroad winds its way northeast through the Tennessee countryside. We caught up with the train once again at Brush Creek, an unincorporated community that has seen better days. This curve near Carthage Junction is one of the most famous locations on the Nashville and Eastern. The wide-open farm fields allow photographers opportunities to capture entire trains in perfect light from either direction. Since its inception, the Nashville and Eastern Railroad has been known for preferring General Electric power over EMD units. Even under R.J. Corman ownership, which acquired the N&E in late 2018, the GEs still make up most of the shortline's roster. Carthage Junction is at milepost 61 and was once home to a depot that was moved to Gordonsville after being purchased by an individual in the early 1970s. It was relocated again into South Carthage in 2014, where it has been lovingly restored and repurposed as a community center. From Carthage Junction to Monterey, the imposed speed limit is 10 miles per hour. This section was seldom used for the better part of 15 years due to customers ceasing rail shipments in Cookeville and Monterey. As a result, maintenance was deferred. Lancaster is an unincorporated town with a population of just over 350. There isn't much activity in this sleepy town to speak of, but it is a great spot to document eastbound Nashville and Eastern freight trains. The town derives its name from John Lancaster Jr., an original settler who came to the region in the late 1700s. His descendants still own a farm in the area, recognized by the state as a Tennessee Century farm. Approaching the Caney Fork River, the railroad winds through a wide-open farm field on an S-curve. This segment of the line was built by the Nashville and Knoxville Railroad, a TC predecessor, which was chartered by Alexander Crawford, a wealthy Pennsylvania iron baron, to run from Lebanon to Glen Alice, approximately 125 miles. Work began in 1884, and trains began running between Lebanon and Gordonsville in August of 1888. The Carthage branch was also completed that December. Crawford died in 1890, leaving the railroad's endpoint at Cookeville, covering roughly 60 miles. His sons took over and financed an extension to Monterey, an additional 19 miles, and a branch from Monterey to Hanging Limb, completed in 1894. In 1902, the N&K was acquired by the Tennessee Central. Although it was often wrought with financial difficulties and struggled in the face of competition from the larger L&N and Southern railroads, the construction and completion of the Tennessee Central line was an important political and economic milestone for Middle Tennessee. The railroad connected the residents of the Upper Cumberland region to the outside world and gave local farmers access to major markets in Nashville and Knoxville. The railroad also brought urbanization and modern development to Cookeville and other cities in the Upper Cumberland and Cumberland Plateau regions. The 640-foot-long Buffalo Valley Railroad Bridge over the Caney Fork River was completed in 1889 and was originally a swing bridge, as evidenced by the cylindrical swing pier at its center. The Caney Fork River was navigable at that time, but due to the rise and eventual dominance of the railroads, riverboat traffic went extinct around the turn of the 20th century. As a result, it was rebuilt in 1907 with 2 fixed through-truss spans constructed by the Virginia Bridge and Iron Company. Between Caney Fork and Silver Point, a distance of 5 miles, the railroad climbs over 500 feet with an average gradient of 1.9%. In this next scene, just west of Silver Point, the grade is 3.1% for a short distance. From the air, we're treated to a view of the train snaking through an S-curve south of Boma. The railroad also crosses the interstate about 1,000 feet to the north. Baxter is located at milepost 82.4 and is named for Tennessee Central founder Jer Baxter. Proud of its railroad heritage, the town constructed this brick depot as a visitor center and museum, which opened in 2013. It is loosely based on the original TC depot, which was demolished in the early 1960s. An L&N bay window caboose is also on display. Baxter By-Right is the community's grocery store and is reminiscent of the many country stores that went out of business in the 1980s and 90s due to the rise of Walmart and Dollar General. Cookeville, Tennessee, is the vibrant seat of Putnam County with a population of 36,000. Home to Tennessee Tech, the town is a testament to the charm of smaller cities with significant regional influence. Recognized as one of the nation's fastest-growing micropolitan areas, it plays a pivotal role as an economic hub in Middle Tennessee. Like Baxter, Cookeville is also proud of its railroad heritage, with its 1909 Tennessee Central-built depot still standing as the town's historic centerpiece. A steam locomotive and caboose are also on display, adding to the museum's charm. From Tennessee 135, we caught NE06 setting out the empty gondolas at SA Recycling. By the time we arrived, the two Andrews had already pulled the loaded cars, which would be taken to Nashville for interchange with CSX. With the loaded gondolas added to the consist, the train departed SA for the short siding east of the depot. There, the crew dropped off the 2 empty and 3 loaded gondolas before continuing to the railroad's transload facility on the east side of town. In the early 2000s, the Nashville and Eastern Railroad established a transload facility at Fisk Road on Cookeville's east side. The small two-track site is where the shortline sets out rail cars for customers that transfer their shipments to trucks which take the loads to warehouses or processing plants. Royal Oak, as mentioned previously, is one such customer that receives cornstarch as a bonding agent for charcoal briquettes. We watched as the three-man crew worked to switch the transload site, first grabbing the empties before shoving the inbound loads into the transload spur. Due to how the transload spur is designed, empties must be pulled out first and then shoved onto the main line clear of the switch. Handbrakes are tied to prevent the cars from rolling down a slight eastbound grade. Once the empties are tied down, the loads are uncoupled, pulled clear of the switch, and then shoved into the transload spur. The locomotives are parked momentarily while the conductor and brakeman gravity switch the empties clear of the switch, meaning the handbrakes are knocked off so the cars can roll by the locomotives. Since there isn't a true siding or Y at Fisk Road, this move allows the locomotives to couple on to the opposite end of the cars for the return trip to Lebanon.
Andrew, what are we doing here in Cookeville?
Well, we're about to do a little bit of cowboy railroading. Fixing to do a gravity switch. We're gonna come off with our cars, spot them in. We're gonna gravity drop 3 go-aways past this switch here so we can run around and head back.
How long have you worked here on the N&E?
About 10 months now.
You enjoy working out here?
Oh yeah.
Good company to work for?
Oh yeah, they're treating me and my co-workers very well.
Awesome. Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you, bud.
In the 2020s, gravity switching is increasingly rare, with most shortline railroads opting to place a locomotive at each end of the train. As you can see in this shot, the loads are being pulled ahead of the switch. Conductor Williams then lines the switch so they can be shoved down the transload spur.
Lined in the roll, 41.
Double check.
Double check.
Down here watching your shove. Shove back 9 cars. Spot them up, 41.
With the locomotives and loaded cars clear of the main line, it was time to let the empties roll by the switch. We listened in as the two Andrews expertly coordinated the move together.
This one's knocked off. All right, see what happens here. Away we go.
Once clear of the crossing, the handbrakes were tied down, stopping the cars from continuing to roll. The locomotives were repositioned for the return trip by coupling onto the opposite end of the empty covered hoppers. B39-8 number 8585 would lead the train to Lebanon. Here, Andrew Jensen swapped out with Andrew Williams, who followed the train westbound in the pickup truck. Back at the Cookeville siding, the crew picked up the 3 loaded gondolas. We watched as they added them to the consist. With their train now fully assembled, Josh Neely and Andrew Jensen departed Cookeville for Lebanon. At Silver Point, the train was brought to a stop so that conductor Jensen could purchase a bottle of Pepto-Bismol at the local gas station. Jensen had a bad experience with the 3.1% grade early on in his career, and every time he goes over it, his stomach cramps up. With Jensen back on board, the train departed Silver Point after a 5-minute pit stop. As you can see, Jensen had little to worry about. The two GEs handled this lightweight freight exceptionally well over the grade. We caught up with the train again at Buffalo Valley, located at milepost 70. Our camera, mounted outside the locomotive cab, gave the conductor's perspective as the train crossed the Buffalo Valley Bridge. To catch up with the train in Lancaster or Caney Fork, one must cross the 250-foot-tall, 1,400-foot-long Center Hill Dam. Completed in 1948, it safeguards surrounding communities from flooding and harnesses the power of the Caney Fork River to generate clean and sustainable energy for the region. West of Lancaster, the railroad hugs rocky cliffs while climbing out of the valley. It also crosses Smith Fork Creek over a short bridge not visible from any public road. The Tennessee Central Railway holds a storied yet tumultuous history, mirroring the ebbs and flows of fortune and the changing landscapes of American rail transportation. In August of 1893, the Tennessee Central Railroad Company was born, with J. Baxter at its helm, envisioning a rail link from the Tennessee River to Knoxville. Despite setbacks like the Panic of 1893, Baxter's resilience led to the line's continuation, albeit with financial strains. By October of 1900, the Tennessee Central Railway saw progress, with lines extending from Crossville to Emory Gap. Baxter's vision expanded further, leasing or purchasing additional lines like the Nashville and Knoxville, and organizing new ventures like the Nashville and Clarksville. However, financial woes persisted, and even Baxter's resignation in 1903 couldn't stop the bleeding. Yet glimmers of hope emerged during the war years, with troop trains and increased coal shipments breathing new life into the struggling railway. The post-war era saw motive power upgrades with the introduction of diesel-electric locomotives, but the railway continued to face an uphill battle against financial instability. Passenger service ceased in 1955, long before the Amtrak era beginning in 1971. By the mid-60s, the Tennessee Central faced insurmountable debts, culminating in the company's bankruptcy. Despite efforts to revitalize the line, including government loans, asset sales, and support from legislators wanting the state to purchase the line outright, the railway's fate was sealed. The company ceased operations on August 31, 1968. Despite Illinois Central's attempt to acquire the entire line, a court-appointed trustee divided and sold the property to three competing railroads: the IC, the Louisville and Nashville, and the Southern Railway System. The Illinois Central Railroad acquired the Western Division from Nashville to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Southern Railway hoped to purchase the line to Nashville, bridging the gap between its main lines near Knoxville and the Music City, of which Louisville and Nashville controlled a monopoly. Unfortunately, Southern could only secure the east end from Harriman to Crossville, thwarted by the intense legal battle. Through what is widely considered a shady cash stock deal, the L&N acquired the TC from Nashville to Crossville. Overnight, the L&N removed the rails between Crossville and Monterey, creating a physical barrier between the two companies of 30 miles, thus preventing Southern Railway from accessing Nashville forever. This abrupt turn of events underscored the cutthroat competition and strategic maneuvers characteristic of the railroad industry during that era. The demise of the Tennessee Central Railway not only marked the end of a vital transportation artery, but also served as a stark reminder of the complex dynamics and rivalries that shaped America's railroad landscape. Although the Tennessee Central Railway has been gone for over half a century, its legacy lives on in the annals of American history, a testament to the challenges and triumphs of railroads in the United States. In Watertown, we paced alongside Nashville and Eastern 8585. Named in honor of the community, the former LMX B39-8 joined the Shortlines roster in 2005. It was purchased from NRE Silvis and sported the LMX gray scheme until it was redressed in BNSF Heritage 2 colors in February of 2014. This was done because the previous owner of Nashville and Eastern liked BNSF's branding and wanted NNE repaints to match other ex-BNSF units already wearing Heritage 2. Again in Lebanon, we caught the train where our day began, at milepost 34. Before tying down the locomotives at the N&E shops, the freight cars were dropped off in the siding under I-40. We caught up with the locomotives running light by the railroad shop complex in Lebanon before being tied down. All in all, we had a fantastic day chasing the Cookeville turn on the Nashville and Eastern Railroad. We'd like to thank the train crew for being friendly and accommodating throughout our visit. Without them, this video simply wouldn't have been possible. We're also happy to report that since this video was recorded, the railroad's customers in Cookeville have continued to ship, receiving cars steadily each month. Hopefully, R.J. Corman will be able to attract new businesses in Cookeville and Monterey as the areas continue to grow in population over the next several decades. Time will tell, but the future is looking bright for this unique Corman property. We hope you enjoyed the video and look forward to bringing you more coverage from the Nashville and Eastern Railroad soon. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, happy railroading.